Hey everyone, today we're in Pondicherry to check out a stretch of their railroad and look at the culverts. Today doing an update in Pondicherry because I just didn't like how these things were built when I looked at them last year. Nice granite culvert, nothing's clogged up. I predicted the beavers would destroy this, but apparently the beavers just aren't around. But they did add the rocks. I bet it did get clogged and this floated. But no beavers around at all. No evidence. This place changes every time I come here. Years ago, this nice wood wasn't here. It was like this rickety stuff going all the way across. It felt so unsafe. I believe that's in my last year's video. They just removed it and put these blocks up. Now this part of the trail is pretty cool. Now you get to follow the train track for quite a while. That bridge right here is in great condition. Look at all that creosote. Looks like the train company actually removed, because there was metal beams holding up the rickety stuff. Went magnet fishing here about 2 years ago. Just took a few swings. Obviously it's just train parts, but there was a big abundance. There's a big beaver pond here. Cherry Pond is created by beavers. Look at this, they've been doing work on this. Oh yeah, cleaning it up. Now these trains only run like once every few weeks. I've never actually seen a train here. Other people have said they have, and it goes like really slow. These tracks, they're in good condition, but the trains don't come by much. Maybe we'll see one today on our little walk. These are some of the biggest rocks I've ever seen in the middle of a railway. Can't remember them, and I've been here so many times. Maybe they got pushed up in the winter. Beautiful beaver pond, isn't it? That is so funny. Take a look at this. This little foot crossing has its own sign and number. Yep, they got a clogged culvert right here. Could tell just by this area. It floods. Now this is interesting what I'm noticing here. Down there the track is perfectly straight. But here, if you look carefully, it's not bad at all compared to some railroads I've seen. There's a few ripples right here. That's from, look at this area. There's evidence this whole thing goes underwater because the drainage is just being neglected. You see the drainage ditches aren't dug out. You could see the whole track is just sinking into the mud. Because this ditch is supposed to be going all the way down to the big pond. But it's obviously not working. And look at this. Broken piece of rail. That stuff's always cool to have as an anvil. I got a few pieces of that at home that I magnet fished out from under a train bridge. Now, when I do that, I just leave it there in a big pile because it's pointless even hauling it out. Because as long as it's out of the river and no one's gonna step on it, that's the main concern. Iron doesn't pollute water. It just becomes dangerous if someone's swimming there. Now here's the culvert here. You see water sits there in that lower spot. You can see it floods over. And this is actually their fault. Totally their fault that that track floods. Because look how high up the culvert is. This thing should be set down another foot. Then this wouldn't be flooding. That's why it's happening. Culvert's not installed correctly. And that's definitely an aftermarket one because most of them are granite. Yes, you can clear out a little bit and make it a little bit better. Now you know what I'm noticing? Beavers did this. If this rock was gently spread through the middle, I would assume water did that. But you see this pile of debris? Beavers take these rocks, they stuff it in there. And now water only goes this way, this direction. But yet, There's a blockage on this side. Beavers made this big hump there. Totally beavers. That was done a while ago. Anyways, what I was saying about magnet fishing is iron is like worth 1 penny a pound. So you'd be lugging that for such a long time for like nothing. And people would probably assume you're stealing it. Obviously, you wouldn't get in trouble. It's severely rusted. You could easily prove it came out of the water. But anyways, I found pieces of rail in the water. Perfect pieces, like scraps. The workers, when they were done, just threw it off the bridge. I have a perfect piece. It's like a foot long. Shined it up, painted it black, and now it's my anvil. I like it. Up here in these areas, you're allowed to walk these tracks for recreation. In the winter, they turn into snowmobile trails because a train almost never uses it. In fact, you walking on it actually helps them out. It keeps weeds from growing. But then, people do stuff like this. Oh, hey, Mr. Toad. Look at that. Toad. People do stuff like this, trying to derail the train. People are jerks. And look at this guy. Trapped. Can't get over the rail. Beautiful shot. Take a look at this water. Look how brown that is. It kind of looks bloody, doesn't it? A lot of wood and decomposing material. That's what the foam is. It makes bubbles, the decomposing material. What do we got for a culvert? Oh, I love that kind of culvert. Look at that. Solid iron. The main pipe is probably 2 inches thick. That'll be here for 1,000 years. Oh, we got a little bit of a blockage. I don't know if I can move those rocks. Makes sense, that's why it's moving so slow on the other side. Didn't bring a tripod with me on this walk. You know, I'm confident I can at least roll these. I'll have to roll that one first so it doesn't fall. Yeah, I think I can do this. See, it's blocking half the capacity. Oh, I love these puff mushrooms, but it's not their time yet. I believe that's what those are. So many mosquitoes after me, too. Thank you, tree. It's a perfect tripod. The northern mosquitoes are so desperate. There's a lot of them around me. But I'm wearing sunscreen, and they're afraid to land on that. Let's see what we're going to do here. Can any of these budge? Oh, yeah, this is going to be easier than I thought. Just don't want to be underneath it when I roll it. That's a heavy one, right? Let's see what else we can do here. Gotta get this guy out of here. Pipe's not as thick as I thought, maybe an inch. Still very impressive. Oh, we're gonna go a lot. Watch this. Oh. Gotta get a good balance. There we go. And beavers have been involved, I can see too. That's all we had to do. This one doesn't have to move. Let me show you what we got. All right, now that water, when we're done, is gonna be speeding in the other side. This is kind of nasty, this water. Beavers have been involved. See that? This pipe is like sagging in the middle. Maybe it's raised in the middle. Must be a rock or something in the way. Let's get this debris out of here. I can just scoot it downstream a little bit. It's not going to go anywhere except that big pond, but this will never flow enough. It'll just sit here and rot. If it sounds like in my voice I'm struggling, that's only because it's extremely hot out today. Sweating a lot. Okay, there we go. Got some good flow coming out of here now. Yes, something might form against this, but by looking at the drainage ditch, it's not going to happen itself. Beavers will clog it up, definitely, regardless of what I do. All right. It's definitely flowing faster. This puddle's not going to go away like I thought, because there's like a hump in the middle. I don't think they installed it like that, but you know, things happen in the winter. A rock may have came up and done that. People always say I sound angry in these videos. That's just the way I talk. I'm a rail fan. I love coming out and doing this kind of stuff. I don't hate the beavers. I don't hate on anyone for the maintenance here. I'm just saying what I see honestly. A little bit out of breath after moving a few big rocks. It's hot out today. It's okay. Got a few things to drink on me. We're gonna walk this a couple more miles before I turn around, because this is gonna hit a road up here pretty soon. Maybe someday we'll do it again, starting at that road. Some critter was hungry. Digging here. Oh. Backed off fast from that. Some animals eating yellow jackets. See that in there? Okay, now it's time to carefully go around that. They won't chase you for far, but I don't think they're after me. Look at these rails. Exactly 100 years old. And what's cool here, a lot of these ties have the old markers. There's got a 1964. They used to be stamped nails that were put in them so you know how old they are. Got a 63. Oh, look at that. Oh, that is cool, ain't it? Just gonna leave that there. Just passed a few girls riding horses out here, going really slow on the edge here, so the horse doesn't get hurt on the tracks, I guess. See this here? Wildlife boundary. It's been a really dry month after a record rainfall in July, but yet there's still a pretty good amount of water here. But you can see by the evidence here, the water was that high a few months ago. That's not right. There's got to be a culvert or something clogged. Water shouldn't be that close to the tracks. Now look at this nail here. This one I'm not exactly ripping out of the wood either. From 52. That's pretty cool. Really cool, ain't it? You see, it's better to leave it there so other people can admire it, instead of just taking it for yourself. For a moment I thought that was one of the hoof prints of the horse. No, that's had a big moose here recently. Here's a good example what they did back in these days. New railroad ties will have a giant metal plate holding it together, but older ones like this, see that? Had this S shape in there, which was a lot more rugged and hard to come out. I always see those metal plates peeling off and being ineffective. But these right here, I kind of like those. Look at that. Oh, and it even comes out. That ain't good. It's one of the reasons why they switched. The metal plate is supposed to hug it a lot better than them. I wanted to use that in one of my other videos. Searched the internet for quite a while. Couldn't find a Google picture of one of those old-fashioned S brackets. Yeah, you see this one got an S bracket down there. This one here has a piece of metal. It just sticks in twice. And here's the new modern one. That one looks like it's in there really good, even buried beneath the creosote. Does anyone know what this is? It's solid in the ground, right in the middle of the track. Looks like there used to be something sticking up. I believe that G is for Gorham, New Hampshire, 17 miles. And that's freshly painted, really nice. They didn't do what the new train companies do. Because I know like CSX, they leave the nice granite ones that are usually engraved standing. But for some reason they put an ugly metal pole next to it, while these ones are perfectly legible. Take a look at this one. And that's on a newer tie. Just passed by the yellow jackets again. This is not a good spot to be standing for really long. Because look what we have here. Got some fire ants. All right, on our way back, there's a little trail here that's marked. Don't know if the train company put those or just somebody who made a trail for camping. We're gonna see what's down here. And I'd think today we probably walked at least 8 miles or so, because we walked down to the first roadway on the tracks. Oh, look at this. This is an actual trail for quite a while. That train tie's been here a while. Because I know a lot of times if you're using like state campsites, a lot of them where you have to walk to or whatever, it's always best, bring a little sign that's clearly legible, put it on the end of your little trail or at the entrance of the driveway where you pull into the state campground, because it alerts other people it's occupied. Because if you're not there, someone might go down there, maybe even steal your stuff, and you don't want someone just randomly walking in on your campsite. It's always best to bring a little sign with you. But, oh, this is cool. This is actually a trail. I didn't know they had little cuts off this far down. Yeah, you see what I mean, right? These trails are everywhere. For anyone who doubts, or for anyone who doubted me that you're allowed to walk those tracks, there's all kinds of little cut-throughs and trails. I've never actually been on this before. Yeah, this is a good idea. Years ago, these trails didn't have this, because these trails are at your own risk if you fall or not. This here is pretty cool. These days, they're starting to put chicken wire over it. I remember a lot of people said that when I was building those swamp trails myself. We ended up putting roofing shingles. I originally thought roofing shingles had rotted out. That's why I didn't use entire pieces. I like ripped them into like one inch treads and put them every now and then, so it would catch any slipping. This is cool. Never knew this trail was here. And this is like probably 2 miles down the tracks. Didn't know they had them. Maybe a blowdown. I think it's more of a blowdown actually. They just cut up the trail because this is a wildlife sanctuary. They do log certain areas because it's supposed to be beneficial, but I doubt they did it out this far. This is a nice section, nicely maintained. Can tell somebody was out here with a weed whacker. And there we have a garden spider that I'm gonna, oh no, hey, whoa, get away from me. I'm attached to its web. I don't want to get bit by that. This is nice. See this? These are older boardwalks and these ones are brand new. Oh, got a nice trickling stream too. This is nice because it's so far away from the parking lot. Not many people know this is here. Like the parking lot was packed. I passed so many people on the beginning of this trail. But not out here. Haven't seen anyone in a few hours. Here's a muddy area. Could use another plank. This just goes and goes. And it's been dry out. This is always going to be a muddy trail. Trails with water or some type of challenge are the ones I like to do. Just can't stand boring trails that are just flat. Like a lot of people who come out here to the East Coast always complain how bad our trails are, because people out west expect it all to be smooth out and even paved going up a mountain. What fun is that? It's not. I like these ones that are like half rotted because they look so rustic. A lot of frogs here. Seen a few snakes too. Actually mowing the lawn last week, first time in my life. that I've ever seen a poisonous snake. Really nice trail. I just pulled out my map. This is not going around the pond. It's gonna go for like 10 more miles before it hits a road. Really cool, the boardwalk section, which goes on for quite a while. I'm surprised how much boardwalk there is. But now that we're out here to this flat part, which is gonna go through the woods for miles, it's kind of boring and it's not going anywhere exciting. So I'm gonna head back. We'll look at some of the other stuff. Hey, we got a friend. Where is it? Nope, it went into the stump. It was a snake. Those are nice. Bright orange mushrooms. I'm actually running quite a bit out here. These trails are really nice for running, mainly because of the mosquitoes. All right, here's a good place to sit, especially for the bird watchers. You can see the big pond over there. I love how little these trails are used, where the grass is not even dead on them. Not exactly sure what it is, but I've seen two of them today. Some brown snake. It's quite big, maybe 5 or 6 feet in length. It quickly moves off the trail. I'm thinking maybe a black rat snake, but those are pretty rare. Looks like this portion of railroad, they reused a lot of the plates. Most of the ties are newer, all brand new spikes. Look at that. Looks like it was just pounded in recently. Looks like they didn't want to spend the money to do it properly and actually lift it up and put new gravel down. Instead, you can see it in here. It looks like they just swept it away. And not the best for drainage. You can tell water pools in between all these ties. I remember the first time I came here, I must have been like 4 years old. There was always an abandoned whole bunch of train cars that were always fun to look at. See all this rail here? There used to be another switch that went off right here. Also towards Gorham. Now it's a snowmobile trail, bike trail, whatever you want it to be. Not even open anymore. This used to be open like a road when they ripped that up. And you can see what I mean here, where all these brand new ties are. That was where the switch was, and they got another one coming off right here. It looks like this is a really sad day for this culvert pipe. You can see where water is supposed to come out. Look at that. Looks like an old ceramic culvert. The ceramic material, all broken. By the look of it, water does not even come out of it. It's finding its way somewhere else. Hey, we got a tiny snake now. Just a garter snake. This is kind of cool. The siding, which is clearly not being used. I guess now it's just a branch line. It used to be a siding. Now they have a derailleur up, so when they park cars in case they started moving. You can see it clearly used to be a siding. Not anymore. See where the old switch used to be, has brand new ties. Check it out, this is pretty cool. It's definitely still working, but there's a lot of ballast making a dam in here. You see the joint of years has separated. See it? It's slid out because it's set on a hill. It's a really nice cast iron culvert. Those things will last forever. They don't rust and they don't get crushed. I don't know why they don't build them more often. And it comes out over here. Oh, right there's kind of broken too. And it's just neglect. You see the whole embankment fell, and that's probably why it's disturbed up there, because you see they cemented around the pipe, and as this thing is slowly pushing, it broke the pipe. It's definitely still working though. It's a pretty tough pipe. This part is so much better. So over here, after a few miles of walking on that, my knees start to get sore. But over here where all the horse prints are, this is nice. All right, this is awesome. I just walked down. This is about 1 mile back from the junction where the trail is. Probably 2 miles down here is the airport. Now, this is what I was seeing on Google Maps. Google Maps looks like it's a wide open train track. They ripped up a train track here. This is an old line. And you can see that screenshot I'm showing right now. Pretty cool, isn't it? And it looks like there's going to be some bridges down here too. You can see a little trail. A few people walk it occasionally. Let's see how it goes. See if it's too overgrown to take. This is most definitely a snowmobile trail in the winter. All right, now this is interesting. Some creature made this big pile. There's like a bunch of erosion here. Look at all these holes. Something's digging like a big burrow and it collapsed. But look at this. That's not too old. Look at beavers are cutting down trees. By the evidence, they flooded this whole area at one point. See, there's a little bit of pond left, but there's got to be a culvert or a bridge right up here that they're using to build this pond. But obviously the power company doesn't like that because somebody unclogged it. Look at this big pile of debris they took out of somewhere. And this is kind of interesting. I saw this on Google Maps. Look at this. I think that's a big lodge. It's almost completely out of the water. No. That is not a pile of debris. When they unclogged this pond, the water dropped so low, it was no longer up to their lodge. So it looks like they had to build a tunnel to get to it in safety. Well, there was a bridge, but it's been long taken down. There's the railroad over here. So that makes more sense. Beautiful culverts, aren't they? Iron. This one, there might be an iron pipe in there. Like, see? It looks more like reinforced concrete. I guess maybe they just used what they had around. Or, more than likely, years ago they just had this culvert, and you see the nice granite blocks. Maybe a little further down the road they realized they needed more capacity, so they put a reinforced concrete one, and they put a concrete wall up attached to that. That's what I think happened. There never was a bridge. These got plugged by the beavers, and it just took out the whole track, washing it away, and it just went around it. And no maintenance, it stays like this. Pretty cool. Now, I think they just ripped this down maybe a month or so ago, because that looked pretty fresh. The beavers were trying to repair this. And you see right up here, that's the trail we walked in on. That's the actual trail going to the parking lot. People are always like, why are you taking down those beaver dams? You're hurting the environment. People never seem to understand my answers. You have to take down the beaver dam on roads, or it will do this. The water will become so strong, as soon as it starts topping, it's going to dig until the whole road's gone, and the pond drains anyways. Now we're opening back up. It looks like this section of road, it was just abandoned because of that washout. The beavers literally wrecked this road, although it was just going to the train tracks. Looks like somebody drives down here and has little fires. But looking at the maps, I don't think there's a good way of getting out of here. We'll give it a try. It's only a 2-mile walk. This pond was so high at one point that it was actually topping the road before it took out the whole road. Because this road, former train track, was not meant to be a dam. So it was able to get pushed out. Because you see the beavers' efforts to make a deeper pond, they were building a little dam even on top of it. That's what this material is here. The water started to spill over the surface, So they kept building it up with mud and sticks. As they kept building it higher, this rail bed, former train track, was not being reinforced at the same time. I'm sure down there, water was able to pass through the dam, and it took it out. All these small trees along the entire edge of this pond, you could see how big this area that they flooded was. Why are the trees dead? Looking down, most of them are not girdled. It's because they simply drowned from all that water. Look at this old telephone pole. Wouldn't even know that was a telephone pole if it didn't have the creosote all over the bottom of it. This contractor wasn't too smart. Look at this. They built this here so that the water from the drainage ditch supposedly is supposed to go out. It's literally going up a hill to a flat wall. Can you guys see that? What an optical illusion. I thought that's one of those metal plates like on the end of the railroad ties. It's not. What an optical illusion. It looked like spikes. That ain't good. Got a little sinkhole forming here. It might have been a frost heave pushed up a rock and they removed it and just patched it. Let's hope that's the case, because there's a diagonal culvert immediately right here. Maybe it leaked water that froze and expanded doing that, maybe pushing up a rock. Might be a little bit of a blockage. Definitely some rocks from the embankment fell down here. There's a little bit. Time to spread my legs and get to work. It's a little bit of debris in there, but this is New Hampshire. They have probably the best infrastructure I've ever seen. Looks like there's some blockage like way down inside it. I see something. And look at it, really thirsty roots stretching into there. Whatever that is inside, maybe we'll be able to see if we climb down over here. Yeah, New Hampshire has like the best infrastructure I've ever seen. Because you go into Massachusetts, they have guardrails that are literally, the bolts are rusted through and they're falling down with no money to fix it. But up here, they're replacing guardrails that appear to be perfect. Turns out, by code, they can't have wooden blocks anymore. They're replacing them because they need new ones that have plastic compression blocks. It's way safer in a crash. That's what I was seeing. The entire end is like bent and broken because it enters here going pretty straight and it's like kinked. Then it comes down. That's why you can't see perfectly out. I believe there is some issue there, but it's not urgent. After a half an hour walk in, no, it's not going to do it. It's going to lead like directly into the airport, which is miles out of my way. It's best for me to just go back the way I came. Hope this video was interesting. Thanks for watching.